Now, pets are now allowed to be disputed for in New York State's family court. This after Governor Kathy Hochul signed an Assembly Bill 5775 into law exactly 1 week ago today. Now, the goal of the bill, also known as the Pet Custody Bill, is to change the view we have about companion animals in the event a divorce or separation takes place, instead of ruling them as marital property.
An animal is not going to be able to voice any opinion here. So we're left with potential experts, I would think.
New York's Assembly Bill 5775 and Senate Bill 4248 states when awarding the possession of a companion animal, the court shall consider the best interest of such animal.
The companion animal, which is described in the statute, if you look under the Agriculture and Markets Law, that is any domesticated animal, and it talks about a dog or a cat or any other domesticated animal that is routinely kept in the house. It excludes farm animals.
Michael Anthony Rossi, Esquire, with the Rossi Law Firm, is a divorce lawyer. For him, animal custody battles aren't new.
And I can tell you in those instances, we were able to fashion an agreement which resolved that issue rather than put the issue before the court. But now with the new legislation, there appears to be a standard for the court to follow. So it does give us some guidance.
So how do you convince a judge which spouse will take custody? Rossi says lawyers must get creative in providing proof to present to the judge with proper documentation from animal experts.
A veterinarian or an animal behavioralist or a trainer. There are animal psychologists. Those types of individuals may be able to determine the makeup of the animal and which party has always taken care of the animal, feeds the animal, is home with the animal, who takes the dog for a walk.
Animal shelters are also caught in the middle of custody battles. In some cases, spouses send animals to the shelter.
We often see a couple of surrenders a year for divorce. What we generally encounter is neither party actually wants to take custody of the animal, and they end up surrendering to the SPCA. Also, a few times a year, we'll have a spouse surrender an animal to the shelter without the other party's knowledge.
The new law calls for ownership papers if a pet is sent to the shelter. That's because animals are considered property in the state of New York.
If a person does not have the legal authority to surrender the dog, then I would think that would be an issue that a court would be inclined to get involved in. If it was an animal acquired during the marriage, and even though it's in one party's name versus the other, if it's marital property, then they may not have the authority to give the dog away.
Now, the new law is now in effect.